It is still possible for you to gain muscle mass even if you're over the age of 50 and even if you've got access to no equipment whatsoever at home. In this video today, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that with a simple routine. My name is Harlow and I specialize in helping people over 50 to improve their health and their mobility and to regain lost muscle and to slow down the process of sarcopenia with age. And that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today. So in today's video, I'm going to share with you the exact routine I gave to one of my clients who was a lady in her 60s who came to me saying, Will, I've lost a ton of muscle in my arms and legs. I feel weaker. I don't feel I look as good as I once did. I feel a bit self-conscious. And I'm worried about where things are going to go in the next 10 or 20 years. So I'm going to show you the exact routine we used. This video is perfect for people who don't have the time to go to a gym, or maybe you don't have the money for a gym membership. If that's you, don't worry because we've got you. This video is perfect for you. Now I'm going to show you the exact routine in a moment, but before I do, I just need to make you aware these exercises are not going to be suitable for everyone. Make sure you get checked out by your doctor before you give them a try, and if they cause you any pain, just avoid them. Anyway, let's have a look at the routine now. So the first exercise we're going to do in this no equipment routine is the donkey calf raise. And this is such a good home exercise for building muscle mass and strength in your calves. Now I like this exercise because it's super easy to do. You just need the back of a chair, so no major equipment at home, and it looks something like this. You're going to put two hands on the back of a chair. You might want to wedge your chair here up against the wall just so it doesn't slide forward. And I would try and position yourself so your feet are a little bit further back from the chair and your arms are just rested on the chair like this, as if you're really out of breath and you're just trying to catch your breath by leaning on something. Now the exercise is really simple. You're going to stick your bottom out behind you like this, and as you do that, you're just going to lift yourself up onto your tiptoes and then come back down again, and then come up again on tiptoes and back down. So at no point in this movement are we resting. We're just keeping the motion going right the way throughout. So we're coming up and back down. If you're anything like me, when you get to here, you can feel a little bit of a stretch in your calf, even though your feet are just flat on the floor. And that's ideal because the research is showing that if you contract your muscle from a stretched position, that is the biggest stimulus for muscle gain. So if you feel that little bit of a stretch at the bottom of the movement, that's excellent. It means you're in the right position, and you're just going to keep repeating that movement until you start to get some fatigue right in that calf muscle. For some people, that's going to be 10 reps. For others, 20. Some of you will be able to do 30 repetitions, then have a break, wait for the feeling to subside, probably have 1 minute of rest. And I would repeat that 3 times total. So you're doing 3 sets, and then you can move on to the next exercise. That's going to be the theme today. We're going to do 3 sets to fatigue of each of these, because that is how we get a brilliant stimulus, enough to make the body start laying down new muscle. The second exercise we're going to do today is called the single leg elevated lunge. And this works your quads and your glutes at the back of the hip. Now again, we don't need any equipment, but we are going to use a step. Your bottom step on your staircase is fine, or you can get one of these tiny little plastic steps, or even a stack of books would work quite well. We just need something to raise your foot up. So this is how the exercise looks. We're going to work one leg at a time. I'm going to start by putting my left foot on the step like this. My right foot is going to be back on the floor here. I'm going to take my hands out of the way. You can either hold on to something if you need stability, or you can put them behind your head or on your hips. I'm going to put mine up like this just so you can see. And all we're going to do is squat down like this and then come back, and down and come back. So it's like a strange sort of mini lunge / squat as we go right down as far as we feel we can. If you've got a bad knee, you don't have to go down as far as me, but you're going to feel both of your legs having to work quite hard to keep this movement going. And what we're looking for here is a burn both in the quads, so the muscles at the front of the knee on both sides, and also your glutes, the muscles at the back of the hip. And you're just going to keep this movement going until you've got that burn. And again, that might be 10, that might be 20, you might be able to do more. But once you've done a certain number, then you're going to swap sides. And because both sides work both legs, if that makes sense, you won't be able to do as many on your second round, but it's still really important to balance you out. So straight back into it like this, you're going to go over the top. So your knee is going over your toes if you can. That's totally safe to do. It's a complete myth that putting your knees over your toes is bad for your knees. It's absolutely fine. As long as you don't feel too much pain doing this, it's totally okay. And that's actually how our knees are designed to move in squatting and lunging movements. So don't be afraid to do what I'm doing now. You'll feel it working in your quads, which is a great sign. And you're just going to keep going until that fatigue builds up and you feel you can't do any more. Rest for 1 minute, go back to the first leg and repeat. Do a total of 3 sets, and then we can move on to your next exercise. Before we go any further, I just want to tell you about a very special bonus I've created for viewers of this channel. It's called the Complete Guides to Building Muscle and Strength over the age of 50. And if you're someone who is a little bit confused about how to go about starting the process of building muscle and strength, you don't know what equipment to use or what exercises to choose, this is perfect for you. It's an exclusive 25-minute video that you can't find anywhere else, where I teach you all the ins and outs of building muscle and strength specific for people over the age of 50. So it's one of the best things I've created. I'm giving it totally for free to viewers of this channel. All you need to do is scroll down below this video. There's a link in the description where you can sign up. I'll send you the video straight away and you can get started. It's some of my best info, and if you use it, I hope you enjoy. The next exercise we're going to do in this routine is called the slow sit to stand. And this is another exercise that works your quads and your glutes. It's also great for your core as well. It's just a great all-rounder if you want to build some muscle at home. And all you need is a chair, and we're going to basically challenge the muscle by moving incredibly slowly in something called the eccentric phase, which is when we're slowly dropping back down and the muscle is lengthening. This is really anabolic. It triggers muscle growth almost like nothing else. And it's such a good exercise for people who don't have much equipment and they're over 50, 65, whatever the age may be. This is really, really good. So what we're going to do is shuffle right to the edge of your chair. So you're just perched on your sitting bones. You're going to pull your feet in just underneath you. So your feet are flat, but they're underneath your knees. You're going to have your hands out the way. So hands across chest like this. Keep your back nice and tall. Hinge at the hips and bring your nose over your toes and stand up. And then put the movement straight back into reverse. But this time, we're going to move super, super slow. So if you look at the pace that I'm going down, that's probably a 5 or 6 second eccentric phase. And then we're going to go straight back up again, a bit quicker, but then really slow on the way down. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And again, so forward and up, and then down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And again, try not to pause at the bottom, okay? That keeps the time under tension throughout the muscle. And you'll feel your thigh muscles and your glutes having to work really hard to keep everything good. Make sure you're not kind of collapsing at the end. So one of the common mistakes I see people do with this is they get to here and then they drop back. You've missed out on a huge amount of muscle growth if you do that every time, because it's that last couple of inches that really gives you the bang for your buck. The other thing I see people do is they almost fold down. So they'll get to here and then they'll start to round their spine and come down like that. We want to keep your back straight throughout. So the movement is like this. So the bottom's sticking out, the back is nice and tall throughout. If you look at my back, it actually hasn't changed angle. It's my hips that are changing the angle. Now you won't be able to do as many of these. So you might want to shoot for 10. Great if you can do more, but don't worry if you can only do 3 to 5 in a row. Have a rest, 3 more sets of that, and then move on to the next exercise. So now we're going to move up the body. We've done our legs, they're cooked. The next thing we're going to do is work the chest, the shoulders, and the arms. And we're going to do something called a wall press up. Now, to do this exercise, you can do it just with a wall, But I'm going to show you a more advanced version for people who want to activate more muscle growth by stretching the chest and then contracting. So the easy version, which I'll show you first, super simple. You're just going to put your hands against the wall, probably about shoulder width apart. You want either your palms flat like this, or if you've got bad wrists, you can use your fists. So don't worry if your wrists are stopping you from doing this. I'm going to put my hands nice and flat. You're going to go just up onto your tiptoes ever so slightly because they're going to act like a pivot point. And then you're going to bend your elbows, keeping your body straight, touch your nose on the wall, and then push away. So again, you can come down, touch, and away. And if you have your elbows nice and tight, you're going to work your triceps more. And if you have your elbows nice and wide, you're going to work your chest a little bit more. And it's totally up to you what you'd prefer to do. You can do both, but I would probably do some kind of combination, really. Now, here's how we make this a little bit more effective if what we want is as much chest growth as possible. So we still don't need equipment, but we're going to use some towels, which hopefully you've got lying around at home. Doesn't really matter what size the towels are, but you want to roll them up into 2 sausages like this. So we're going to put the sausages on the wall, and we're going to have our hands a little bit wider than we did first time. Now, nothing else changes, but we're still trying to touch the nose on the wall. That means we've got further to get to, because this has probably added 2 inches of extra range of motion, and you'll really feel the difference. So up onto your tiptoes again, keep your body nice and straight, come down to the wall, all the way into that stretch, touch, and then out. And then down, touch, and out. And down, touch, and out. Now, when I get down to here, I can now start to feel my chest stretching. So as I said before, when we contract a muscle from its most stretched position, that's when we get the most anabolic effect. So if we're just doing half the movement, it's not even nearly as good as doing the full movement contracting from a stretch. And because we aren't using a huge amount of load, it's just kind of half your body weight, you're probably still going to find this doable. And most people are going to be able to do a decent number of reps. So aim for somewhere between 10 and 30 repetitions. That's what I would say for most. Have a rest when you get to that sort of fatigue zone. You feel that you're quite tired, you really can't do that many more. Stop for a minute, let it recharge, and then go again. And you're going to do 3 sets total, and then we're going to move on to our last exercise. The final exercise we're going to do today works your shoulders really, really nicely. So it's your deltoids and your rotator cuff. Super important muscles, especially for people over 50, because the rotator cuff can decrease in quality with age, and we want to stop that if we can. So I know I said no equipment, but I mean, we're going to use 2 bottles, and the best bottles I can think of that would be good for you at home would be 2 wine bottles, because they're the right size to hold and they're just about the right weight as well. So hopefully you have a couple of wine bottles lying around. I'm going to pretend these are wine bottles. They're definitely not as exciting. They're ultrasound gel, but hopefully you've got a couple at home that you can hold securely. So what you're going to do is you're going to start standing like this with really good posture, as good as you can. Squeeze your bum together, pull your shoulders back and down, and keep your head up, neck nice and relaxed. And the exercise is super simple. All we're going to do is just raise those bottles out to the side, just to slightly above 90 degrees, and then bring yourself back down. You're keeping your elbows nice and straight. And if you look at my arms, what I'm trying to do really is I'm trying to raise my elbows up almost as high as my hands. So what I'm not doing, what I kind of want to do is that, okay, which is where my thumbs start to come up. I'm slightly keeping my thumbs down, so I'm keeping my arms flat. Now, it doesn't matter if you turn up like that, you're still going to do some good, but if you really want to target those muscles at the side of your shoulders, it is better if we keep the palms flat when they're out like this, okay? So if you can't do that because you've got shoulder issues, don't worry, just do what feels natural to you. But if you want to do it in the sort of best sense of the word, then I would try and sort of lift the pinkies, if you like. That's sort of the best way to do it. Now, with this exercise, again, a nice number of repetitions, somewhere between 10 and 30 in a row. When you get that working ache on the sides of your shoulders as if, I can't really do any more, put the bottles down carefully, rest for a minute, repeat 3 more times, and you've just smashed a brilliant home workout to help you get gain some muscle. So that's my no equipment muscle gain routine for people over 50. I hope you found this video helpful and useful. If you have, then do drop a comment below and just let us know what you thought of it, because it does help us to improve these videos. Thank you if you take the time to do that. Make sure you've liked the video and subscribed to the channel and whatever else you can do on YouTube, because it does help us to grow this channel as well. And if you want to get more from me, the best way to do that is to pick up a copy of my brand new book. It's called Thriving Beyond 50, the 2024 edition. I'm super excited to announce it. It's 450 pages of my best strategies, exercises, advice for people over 50 to help them improve their health and their mobility and their strength as well. It's got loads more stuff just like what you found in today's video inside. So you can go down below this video and find our link to go and grab your copy on Amazon. Thank you if you do that, and I hope you enjoy, and I'll speak to you again on the next video.